Bringing us into the top 15 is Kiramazine, and he is so shiny, and I love how shiny he is. It's a very subtle and unique aesthetic choice that just looks really pretty. It doesn't get much deeper than that. Actually, I take that back. The shine is also useful for making all of these colors feel unified because they have the same visual quirk not seen in any other design. And this is also a bit of a nitpick, but Jetter as the sword and not really contributing to the combination in any way is a little bit weird. Maybe it's just because I've seen Kiramazine, so it feels weird because I know like the backstory behind it. I don't know what that means. What am I talking about? The best part of this Megazord though is the head. It's beautiful. I love the mouth plate, the fins, the incorporation of all the machine colors on the top. It's just awesome looking. It's such a good design, but the whole design of the Megazord is also really shiny, and that's why I like it so much. In my opinion, the best part of the Aba Ren O design is how unified it is because of this textured gold motif, I guess. It's such a unique thing. It ties together the different parts of the robot, but also helps with this symmetry of the two arms since they have like similar designs, but they're also just completely different from each other. Speaking of which, those arms are pretty cool. The big old drill T-Rex tail is ridiculous fun, especially because it is just a tail. And the other arm is just literally the entirety of the Triceratops, which is also weird, especially the hand. Can I even call that a hand? But it fits in well enough that I like it, again, because of this textured gold that really links the two halves. This robot looks more like a transformer than like a Super Sentai Robo, and I do really like that. It's so simplistically blocky, so to make up for that, it just has so much detail. It's kind of crazy how complex this detailing is when you ignore the body's build. All these vents, panels, and lights really add to the effect of this just being the alternate form of a giant M, not a giant... Add to the effect of this being the alternate form of a giant spaceship. The M on the chest, whether or not it stands for Mega Rangers or Megazord, is up to you, but it's another fun in-your-face detail. It's a pretty unique take on a giant robot for Sentai, in my opinion, and I think that's what makes it so interesting. And it's just also got this really awesome detailing, so there's that as well. One thing I really like about the Deca Ranger Robo is its incorporation of the sirens. It's a really interesting motif. All of these higher up robots have a really interesting motif, don't they? And it gives the robot a bit of flair, makes it visually interesting and distinct, and helps again with combining all of these different parts together. I like how the different vehicles for the different limbs are so basically identical to their opposite side, so we have this interesting asymmetry component. Oh, and of course the different colors are cool, but you expect that out of a multi-part Megazord. Come on now. There's not that much color variation even, since the robot goes with white as its primary color component, which is another cool touch, since I don't think white is really used all that often as the base color of a Megazord. The robot's just really nicely designed, and the sirens are really cool. They like light up and they make siren sounds. That's kind of awesome. Geki Toja, Geki Rangers, there you go. This Megazord is a great example of a design that doesn't really flow very well in terms of colors. The red, blue, and yellow are so bright and stand out so much in comparison to each other, but I don't really mind it here for some reason. I don't know why. The blockiness of the colors combined with the refined, organic almost silhouette is just really appealing to me. The obvious main appeal to me in colors is the big red and black torso. Other than that, there's not that much I really love about the Megazord. It is very simplistic, but there's not really anything that I hate or have too big of a problem with, so it's all really cool. Especially the goggles on the Jaguar. It's a very bizarre design choice, but it's still kind of adorable for this leg. Bringing us into the top 10 is probably one of the most angelic Megazords, because Go Say Great in Angel theme. There's something so beautifully simplistic here with this combination of symmetry and asymmetry. Like the snake and tiger are both the legs and feature almost identical detailing, and the shoulders have almost identical detailing, and it creates this really cool effect that I quite like. The best part for me is the head and like whole body design. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the feather horns, I guess. The colors, maybe the design itself. It really ties together this simplistic but awesome design. And the wings. The wings are very cool. Speaking of wings, I guess in 9th place is Magi King, and I love the color breakup on this design. The chest is primarily made up of red and gold. It's also a fun juxtaposition with the legs being very dark in coloration with the black, silver, and blue. And I don't know, despite these really opposite color schemes, it doesn't feel like these two separate parts connected together. It's just a very solid Megazord design. There is a little nitpick I have with this. It's not a big problem, but I just feel like the hat is like too much for the design. Like, I appreciate the wizard's hat because it's a wizard Megazord, I guess, but maybe it could have been a bit smaller. The execution for what it is fine, and it's honestly a hilarious addition to a good robot. So I do really like this robot. And before anyone tells me in the comments, yes, I know Magi King inspires Zenkai Majin's Ranger form, and it doesn't affect my opinion on Magi King, it just makes me love Majin even more. In 8th place is the Victory Robo, another absolutely rectangular design that I absolutely like. The boxiness makes this robot feel very imposing and powerful, but still makes use of the wonderful tokusatsu cheesiness. It's really simple in design and coloration, but something about that is really charming. The legs are quite literally giant colored blocks. The arms are giant colored blocks, but then the chest design just has this minor little detailing that ties everything together. The head also works really well. I like the silhouette of the big pylon earpieces, and once again we have a visor, and what can I say, I just really like visored designs, and this one works. In 7th place is Great 5. The colors are great on this design. The all red chest is really cool and blends in so well with the white and black that also just ties together the rest of the suit. The big yellow shield is a welcome splash of color that makes it feel like an actual part of the suit. The head is a little weird and boxy. I'm not the biggest fan of its general design, and the coloration is a bit strange, but it doesn't really detract from this suit. I think the fins that come off of it make a cool silhouette, and it really ties together the rest of this Megazord design, and that's why it's in 7th place. It looks really cool. In 6th place is Kyoryujin. I feel sometimes people don't give this season's aesthetics props for not including a yellow ranger because it does wonders for the main Megazord. The yellow now functions as this unifying color, but it stands out more than just black or silver wood as a unifying color, so it gives the whole thing a lot more of a personality. And I love how in your face it is with some of these T-Rex parts, like the face and tail are just the shoulder pads. There's no changes, they're just there as the shoulder pads. T-Rex feet are the feet. Something is just something about that's really fun to me, and I really like that. The arms are also really great with the pink Triceratops drill. The blue Stegosaurus is fine. They stand out, but they stand out in a good way. You're like, oh yeah, those are different parts making the arms, but it still looks like, hey, this is one yellow filled Megazord.
Hey, what's up? It's Este here, and when it comes to my favorite Sentai Robo, I definitely gotta give it to the Engine Gattai Engine O from Engine Sentai Goanger. And in this giant Sentai combination, there's 3 Zords. You got Speedor, which can literally fly in the air. Busan, which he's literally so big that you can just charge and just break stuff and just hit the enemy with pure force. And there's also Bear RV, which can literally like open its mouth and chomp the enemy. It will literally eat the enemy. And when these Zords become this Sentai Robo, it can actually provide the Robo with a sword and actually a shield, which not a lot of Robos have a shield on them like that. So it's really good in battle. There's also that finisher, which literally has the Engine O having a sword and just slashing at the enemy in Mach speed. I don't see any Sentai Robo as fast as Engine O. Just saying, let me know when you find one that does. And when it comes to like Zord technology, it has like a vector scope and even like a GPS on there, so it's technically advanced. And the Sentai Robo is actually great for compatibility, not just with other Sentai Robos in the Goanger team, but also when it comes to combining and making the G12, the giant mecha that has all the mechas in it. I love that. Engine O, the best. Prove me wrong.
So, much like the previous season of the one this Megazord comes from, this design does a great job of combining symmetry and asymmetry in an awesome way. The pink and yellow legs have similar colorations with the gold and black, but still fulfill the same general design, and the green and blue arms have the same gold cannon and shoulder design. The red component, pirate ship, is really amazing though. I absolutely love the red, black, and gold coloration of it, and I love the pirate hat helmet that also pairs with the bandana design when it's not wearing the helmet, which is such a cool, unique touch with the design. There's just a lot of cool, subtle details in Gokaiyo, and that's what makes Gokaiyo stand out for me. It's just a lot of cool, unique details. In fourth place is the Time Robo Alpha. Before I get into Time Robo Alpha, just for the sake of Time Robo Beta, if you consider that a primary Megazord, that would be in last place of this whole list. Now, Time Robo Alpha is a complete 180 from that awful version. I love the color scheme. It's just very focused on red. I love red. I should have mentioned that earlier. Red's my favorite color. This robot is chunky in all the right places and comes off as this really powerful force to be reckoned with. I like how the big shins lead directly into the feet, but still feel very connected to the arms and upper body, that in turn flow perfectly into the chest. Speaking of the chest, I like how it and the head incorporate the arrow design of the actual ranger suits. It's also really cool how this is a multi-part Megazord. There are individual colored parts that combine to make this, but you can't tell that at all. It's all red and silver and black, and I love that little design detail. And it makes this robot have like this really unique personality. It's a combiner, but it doesn't look like a combiner. In third place is a Showa design, or maybe Showa, actually, I don't know the arrows. Bio Robo. This design is so slick. I love the horned helmet and the way the eyes use this stylized visor in a way that create this really unique Megazord feel, despite the weird metal. The chest design is really cool with this cannon looking thing, and then the torso is just entirely made out of this silver color that gives the idea of him having more flexibility than other mechs. He is actually just very blocky, as these older designs are, but I think it's a really cool design. The main selling point of this guy is the colors, red and black. That's not the only reason I like this robot so much, but the color really elevates everything to a new level, and I was not expecting this robot to be so high on it, but when I was starting to rank everything, I'm like, this looks really cool. I really like the look of this thing. So that's why it's so high on the list. I just think it's really cool, and I wasn't really expecting to think of that. In second place is, I might have written that wrong. Is that Gingayo? Gingayo. It is Gingayo. Okay, cool. In second place is Gingayo, and I really love the colors here. Somehow they managed to be bright and colorful like a robot should be, but they still fit together as this Megazord design expertly. I like the way the brighter colors are used on the top half of the design, giving this robot a big punch when it comes to a visual presence. It gives a great contrast to the lower body since it's all the blue Zord and largely silver, whereas the top is mainly gold and yellow. I even like the wings on the back. I think they should have been a bit bigger because you can barely see them, but I think just a pair of wings on a design are really cool. But the design is also really cool. He has a gorilla tummy, so that's adorable. But the colors just really send this thing over the top for me, and that's why it's in second place. Coming in at first place as my favorite Super Sentai robot is Kishiryu 3 Knights. Even if we remove my bias towards Ryusoulger as a season and the Kishiryu as a robot gimmick, this is such a great design. I love how sleek and powerful it feels. There are these minor bits of shin armor and skirt armor, these really cool drills on the top. The weaponry the Kishiryu add with the arm-mounted sword and shield really add to the general sleekness of this design. Speaking of the Kishiryu attachments, they are a great example of combining asymmetry and symmetry. Of course, being different dinosaurs, they've got different everything, but they have this identical silver detailing on their bodies, so there is still this connective tissue between the two of them on the shoulders and arms, even though on one half you've got like a hammer and in the other half you've got like swords. Then the actual Megazord head is just like the cherry on the top. I love how unique it is with like half of the dinosaur head sticking out the side, and it doesn't really feel clunky to me at all. I think it fits, again, with the sleekness of the design. Everything about Kishiryu really combines everything I love about these Megazords and mechas. From the colors, to the design, to the uniqueness, I absolutely love this Megazord. Kishiryu 3 Knights comes in at number 1. If you enjoyed this Super Sentai ranking, be sure to let me know by leaving a like, a comment, or even subscribing to this channel. This took a lot of effort to make, so I'd really appreciate the support. Maybe you could go watch my Rider Anniversary ranking as well. Do whatever you'd like. Nonetheless, thank you for watching. Is everyone gone? In the above number 1 spot, even if she's not a primary Megazord or even a Megazord, is Majin, because I love her.